Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you have ever stared at those clinical notes thinking like, okay, what do I even write here? Then this video is made just for you. I'm not going to bore you with the generic tips like write formally or be concise. You already know that, right? Why to waste time in giving those information? Instead, we are going deep, like real OET deep. I will walk you through exactly how to think, how to filter the case notes like a pro, how to plan, and finally how to write a referral letter that gets band A. Oh, and this won't be a short example. I will take you through a real size case note, step by step, no shortcuts. So you will finish this video with absolute clarity. So grab a notepad or you can just pause and talk back to me. Let's do this together. The first thing 90% of OET candidate miss. Do you know what is that? It's the purpose. You've got 5 minutes of reading time. So don't just read. Hunt for the purpose like the detective. You have to ask yourself, who am I writing to? What do they need to know? What action do I want them to take after reading my letter? For example, if the letter says you're a community nurse writing to a physiotherapist, they don't need full medical history. They just need what is relevant to a rehabilitation, right? Which means the physio doesn't need the full medical history. They need only the stuff which are very much relevant to rehab. So the trick is write only what the recipient needs, not everything you see. Okay, time to bring in the big one, a real example. Okay, let's move on here. Now, imagine this is your writing task today, and here is the setting. You are a registered nurse at a hospital in Brisbane, and patient name is Mr. Ronald Shore, 68 years old. Presenting problems, so these are the case notes. Admitted 2 days ago after a fall at home. X-ray confirms fractured right femur. Underwent surgery, that is open reduction internal fixation. How stable and recovering. Medical history type 2 diabetes, well controlled, hypertension, smoker for 30 years, still smoking, mild depression on sertraline, social background, lives alone, wife passed away 3 years ago, no children, no close family nearby, retired teacher, mobility poor even before fall, uses walking stick occasionally, no home modification, narrow stairs, and about the post operative progress, physiotherapy started, assisted walking with frame, expressed fear of returning home, needs continued rehabilitation, fall prevention, referral to community physiotherapist for home visits and further mobility training, and the discharge scheduled in 2 days, will need support with mobility, stairs, smoking cessation advised, emotional support needed, and here is your task. You have to write a letter to Miss Emily James, a community physiotherapist at Westwood Health Center, who will continue his care. In your letter, you have to explain Mr. Show's conditions and progress, highlight ongoing care needs and necessary intervention. Are you ready? So you can just, pause the video, or if you want, you can just replay it back and you can see what are the case notes and try to write it by yourself. Then I will show mine. Now, before moving on to the writing, there is one more thing. Step two, planning magic. Okay, filter like a clinician. So, how do you filter like a clinician? Easy. I use my three box rule. If you are ready, please make a note of it. Box 1, what to keep. So remember, we have seen fractured femur, surgery, mobility, fear, living alone. These are the things that you need to keep in your writing and the referral reason, right? In box 2, what you have to skip. Full diabetes or hypertension, because these details are unnecessary unless it affects physio care. Here, not much. And also smoking, which is not relevant. We might mention it in one sentence if it affects the rehabilitation. And sertraline, only if it connects to emotional support. Okay, so these are the things that you need to skip. The next one is highlight. What to highlight for the physio? Home safety concerns, need for mobility training, emotional fear of returning home, and then stairs, walking frame, fall risk, all these things you need to highlight to the physio. So your job is not to retell his life story. It's to be laser focused on what the physiotherapist needs to act on. This skill, selecting the right information, is 70% of OET success. Got it? So remember these three boxes. All right, let's see our sample OET referral letter. So first you have to write your name, address, and then the date: Miss Emily James, Community Physiotherapist, Westwood Health Centre, Brisbane. Dear Miss James, regarding Mr. Ronald Shore, aged 68, I'm writing to refer Mr. Ronald Shore, who is due to be discharged from our facility in 2 days following surgical management of a fractured right femur. He will require ongoing physiotherapy support in the community. Mr. Shore sustained the fracture after a fall at home. He underwent open reduction internal fixation and is currently mobilizing with assistance using a walking frame. Although he is medically stable, his confidence remains low and he has expressed considerable anxiety about returning to his home environment. Prior to the fall, Mr. Shore had limited mobility and used a walking stick occasionally. He lives alone in a multi level house with narrow stairs and no safety modifications. These factors place him at high risk of future falls. Your involvement in providing home based rehabilitation, balance training, and stair navigation would be greatly beneficial. He would also benefit from encouragement and emotional reassurance during your sessions. Please do not hesitate to contact me if further details are required. Yours sincerely, you can write your name, registered nurse. So, if you see the purpose, we have given it in the first paragraph itself, right? Because most candidates go like, I'm writing this letter to inform you about. But here we have written, I'm writing to refer Mr. Ronald Shore, who is due to be discharged. He will require ongoing physiotherapy support, right? So this is not just polite filler, it's doing two heavy lifting jobs. The first one, it identifies the action the reader needs to take and it tells the urgency also. Got it? So OET doesn't want drama, it wants precision. And this first paragraph gets right to the point. And if you see the content, think of the case notes like a grocery store. Okay, you don't throw everything into your cart, just what's needed for the recipe. Here, the recipient is the community physiotherapist. So we pick content that answers: what physical limitations does the patient have? What's the current level of mobility? What support is needed post discharge? So if you see, we have included fracture and then we have included about current mobilizing with assistance using a walking frame and then depression, medication, diabetes. No, we didn't mention because you need to mention only if clinically essential, right? And also living alone with narrow stairs, definitely included because it's a fall risk. So you're not just dumping facts, you're acting like a clinician saying, hey, here's what you need to know to treat this patient safely and effectively. Okay? And conciseness and clarity, short sentences, but it created a big impact. Got it? The sentences are clear and we used a simple language with proper flow and genre and style. You should sound like a real nurse, isn't it? So this is where most test takers slip. They sound robotic or worse or sometimes too casual. But here, if you see our letter, it maintains the professional content throughout, but with warm tone. And if you look for organization and layout, structure is everything. So we followed the blueprint. We have started with the introduction where we have given the patient details and the referral reason, and later we proceed with the medical or surgical background, what happened, and the current recovery. Afterwards, we stated the social situation and risk like the living condition, emotional status, and then finally we have done with the request, what you expect the physiotherapist to do, and the last one is the closing. The offer to provide more information, a polite ending. So no paragraph is longer than four sentences. That's the key. Paragraph should breathe. If they feel like a block of text, the reader zones out. Okay, and that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the session. Kindly like, share, and subscribe for more OET tips. See you in the next video. Bye bye.